A race rich in history as we take you to some of New York City's historic, iconic landmarks. The Brooklyn Bridge overlooking Manhattan as we take you up to Central Park and 90th Street, right outside of Central Park West, for the 53rd running of the Mastercard New York Mini 10K. Good morning, everybody. I'm Sam Ryan as we are taking you to the historic race. 10,000 runners will toe the start line in just a few minutes, and we will bring you there. But first, let's take a look at some of the history of this race. As I mentioned, the 53rd running of this. It was first run in 1972 as the first ever all-women's race. 1972, as you know, that's when Title IX was passed. Everyone wondering, why is it called the Mini 10K when this is a 10K? It's 6.2 miles. That's because of the mini skirt, and it has adopted the name and kept it for the mini skirt. The course record was set back here in 2023 by three-time champ Semberi Teferi. She is not here today to win it for a fourth time. We'll tell you why in just a little bit, but we do have 17 Olympians, 17 Paralympians. More on that. And I have two Olympians sitting by my side, Carrie Tollefson and Alicia Montano, a 2012 Olympian, but 13 years in the making. You are now a bronze medalist. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I am now the official bronze medalist. It's been a year in the making. Last year I found out that I could be awarded the bronze medal, waited for the appeal process to happen, and now found out that I'm the official bronze medalist. And, you know, there's a lot of history that's happened in those last 12 to 13 years. And I'm excited to continue to help tell the stories of women that are doing such incredible work and make sure that their history is one that we don't lose and that we continue to be able to tell those stories. So
we are so thankful that you have been upgraded, and just thank you for what you do for the sport. And yeah, let's see what happens today.
And we have, as I mentioned, so many familiar faces here today, and some that we saw just a few months ago at the Boston Marathon up on Boylston Street. And look at this, Helen Obiri and Sharon Lacady. They were running side by side. until they made it to Boylston, and Sharon Lacady shattering the course record as she finished first in Boston. She is here today, and look at the head-to-head and the history between these two.
Yeah, we see that O'Beary has won 6-2 over Sharon, but they both love to race here in New York. We love seeing them. They both run here at the New York Mini, but I'm just excited. They're coming off this marathon, so we're gonna have to see how their legs are going.
And Sharon also coming off the NYC half victory here in Central Park, which was also a course record. So she comes into this one strong. Helen O'Beary, she's won here in New York City as well. So it should be so great. Just two of the many faces that we will see running here today. I mentioned a little bit earlier, Samberi Teferi is not here, all for good reason.
Yeah, do you want to
I
announce
am so
it?
excited, you know, for good reason. Teferi and her family are expecting their first child. And so we love this, you know, this time in women's sports, you know, when we tell girls they can be anything, and when they walk into their career and in their motherhood, they also have an opportunity to grow their family and maybe come back into their careers.
So we don't know who will finish first, but we do know a new champ will be crowned. And as we head up to the start line on 90th Street, the wheelchair race, the pro wheelchair about to begin. Susanna Scaroni, she is a 5-time champ here, the only winner of this race, and she gets ready. She actually won in Boston just a couple of months ago. They are getting set to start here at the wheelchair. Tatiana McFadden also racing as well this morning.
Yeah, you see Susanna Scaroni there on the far left. You mentioned it. I mean, she only knows how to win here, but she too is human. She has her ups and downs, and she said she's really excited to see how it goes.
And let's get ready for the wheelchair race.
Do not walk in front of my lane. Stay to the left.
And they are off. Susanna Scaroni, Tatiana McFadden, ones to watch here this morning as they're going to make their way down Central Park West to make the turn into Central Park and 72nd Street right behind us. And then they'll do the lower loop of the Central Park up to the east side. And we'll talk about the course a little bit later, but we'll see if Susanna Scaroni can win this for a 6th time. Tatiana McFadden looking to win this for the first time. This race was not run last year, the wheelchair division.
That's right. You know, Susan Scaroni has been the past champion for the last 4 times. Tatiana McFadden, though, you know, she is a legend. She's got a few more miles on her body and about the same amount of global medals, you know, making her first Paralympic team in 2004. So she's not going to let Scaroni get away with this easily.
So look at the history here between these two. Susanna Scaroni winning it in 2018, 2019, 21 to 23. She holds the course record here as well. But so much history with Tatiana McFadden, as you were talking about, here in New York City, a 5-time TSS New York City Marathon champ. She loves racing here in New York City, and we will see how they do today.
Well, Tatiana McFadden is the winningest athlete ever between Olympians and Paralympians on the entire globe. I mean, she is so good at winning, but this is what we like to see. Susanna Scaroni has to get off the line, get out a little bit. Tatiana McFadden is very fast, and we'll get into that, but look at this entire field. A lot of newer names that train, well, kind of all over the U.S., but a lot of them are right there with Susanna Scaroni in Illinois. You'll see that Hannah Dedrick and Hoda Aishabegi, and just, I mean, the list goes on and on. A lot of Americans in this race, but a lot of new and upcomers. April Coughlin, one of them, and Rachel Cleaver as well. So this is not surprising to see Susanna Scaroni out there, but I just want to give a big shout out to Tatiana McFadden. She has had her journey in this sport, ups and downs and all arounds. She just set a world record last week in the 400 meters on the track. So she has such range, and she's really gaining that confidence again.
Yeah, and that sprint speed is going to be something that we need to look out for in those final pushes towards the finish line. I mean, as you mentioned, Tatiana McFadden, she knows how to race. She is the grittiest competitor that I have seen. I love the fact that this is now the 2nd year of the wheelchair race here at the New York Mini 10K, and seeing all of these new faces just lets us know that it is so important for us to have more spaces and opportunities for representation of all different types of participants in this type of race.
We'll be keeping our eye on our 2 leaders on this entire race as they're heading their way towards us right now, about to make the turn into Central Park. You hear some activity behind us and the cheers because they just made the turn 72nd Street transverse as they head into Central Park. Now they're going to make the right-hand turn down Central Park. right behind us. That was fantastic.
Right
That was
here.
incredible.
Taking that turn so fast.
100%. And, you know, you can almost feel that Scaroni knows that Tatiana McFadden has laser-focused vision on her.
For sure.
Knowing if she can just hang on to her towards that final sprint that we talked about.
Well,
you know,
this
it's
is
anybody's race.
This is the thing that Susanna Scaroni said to me. I asked her before, I said, you know, how do you beat Tatiana? And she said, you have to take it out hard, because Tatiana is very fast on the flat, and this course is very flat when it comes to Central Park running, right? And Susanna likes the climbs. We saw her win here over the marathon. We've seen her win in the half. We've also seen her in Boston. But Tatiana likes flat and fast, so she needs to kind of get out and get going here. Susanna Scaroni, though, has just been quiet and confident and winning, and just she's always consistent. She's there every time.
The last few years we've seen a lot from Susanna Scaroni with that big smile on her face. The start of this race is up at 90th Street on Central Park West, and here's the start of the pro women's race. They are getting set. You see plenty of familiar names there. You see Helen O'Beary to the left, Sharon Lacady to the right, and wow, look at this, one of the strongest fields we've ever seen here.
Amanda Vestry right in the middle there. She's our top returner from last year, top American last year. She was 4th here. This is the race that kind of really blew out her, you know, real early professional career, but also just kind of gave her the confidence to run with the best of the best.
And we love to see that for our new debuted athletes, you know, when they have an opportunity to race against the best in the world.
Wendy Kaladi also there, as you see her to the left. She broke her own American half marathon record back in January, a time of 1:06:09. Let's hear from Wendy Kaladi.
I am Wendy Kaladi, and I'm a distance runner based in Flagstaff. It feels amazing to be in New York. You look around, you realize how many people are cheering for you. It's just like, oh, this is amazing. Early in the season, I was like really ready to run the half marathon, and I knew that I was in good shape. Just going 30, 50 for the first half was like, wow, this is really fast. But no matter what, when it's a road race, it just brings the confidence in me that it's going to be a fast race. It's going to go out my favorite. My job is to hang on as much as I could and like see how the race turned out, and yeah, just perform well. To be lining against this best women that we have, it's going to be a very strong field. So I'm just going to go out there where, like, however the race goes. But I feel like it's going to be a good one. I have to run hard. We're as a woman to just come together and compete against each other. It's incredible. We need to have more races like this so we can have a chance to compete against each other and then show the world that women can do everything.
Wendy Kaladi there at the start line as she rounds out a deep American field here. An Olympian, and she said, I have to run hard, and I'm sure we will see that from her today in this field as she is getting ready to race. They're getting ready to get started up on 90th Street at the start line of the 53rd running of the Mastercard New York Mini 10K, about to start in just moments.
This is always the hardest part of the race, I think. Just waiting, trying to calm your nerves. Your heart rate's going fast. And you know you're going to have to run faster than you might have ever run.
And look at the wheelchair race, and look who is
She's way out.
right there. Susanna Scaroni.
Can you imagine winning this race 6 times in a row? You know, last year they were not here because of the Olympic trials, so we did not have a wheelchair division here last year because they were trying to make the Paralympic team. And Susanna Scaroni had a phenomenal showing in Paris, but yeah, she is just so far out. And I asked her, I said, how are you? And she said, you know what? I don't know if I'm real race sharp right now. And look at how far out she is.
100%. I mean, but that's what you do in training, right? You train yourself to be able to record what you know you can do and you're capable of doing, whether there's anybody with you or if there's competition with you. And so this is just absolutely incredible to see this effort, you know, just out there by yourself. But we know that there's so many people within Central Park right now that are cheering her on.
Sure.
as she's making her way up it looks like the east side of Central Park. Now, this is familiar to her from the NYC half, that area right there, but there are some rolling hills. You know, we talked about areas where it's flat in Central Park, but there are some rolling hills, and on the east side we do have Cat Hill, which is a slow, steady, progressive incline, and that will be basically the strong uphill for this race in Central Park before it makes its way around the transverse and back down the west side to the finish. But there is Susanna Scaroni, and she just looks as dominant and strong as we've seen her.
Yeah, she's had such a phenomenal last few years, and you know, she didn't have such a great couple years there. She was hit by a car, and then she had some other illness, and she's been through a lot, but she is back, and she is just clicking things off left and right, especially on the distance side of her racing.
Yeah.
You talked about that accident where she was hit by the car during training that was leading up to the TCS New York City Marathon a few years back, and to see this comeback and see how dominant she's been since then.
I don't think she takes a race for granted. No. That's the thing.
Yeah, and perhaps that adversity had helped her. As we see her on the bottom of the screen, on the top right of your screen, it's the pro women's race, and they are getting ready as they are less than a minute away from the start of this, as we will crown a new champ today. So much excitement here. I mentioned 17 Olympians and Paralympians being represented today in this strong field.
You know, you mentioned a little bit earlier, Carrie, that you know the start line is a little bit more sort of nerve-wracking, but for me, I actually kind of like being able to size up the competition.
Oh,
right?
you like
a
to
little bit of that,
And that's probably what are they doing that right now?
Yeah, they're probably definitely
folks.
thinking about what is going to happen. Is Helen Obiri going to take it out? Is Gatitam Gebrselassie going to take it out?
You see Kaladi on the left, Obiri, Lekedi,
Get ready.
as they are about to start. And we will listen.
No, 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 no.
And they are off.
Dakota Bopane and Annie Frisbee both had great races here last year. I mean, the thing is we look at all of these women racing, 10,000 of them, right? 72 of them started in 1972. Now we have 10,000. And these Olympians, these Paralympians, they want to be in the mix with all of these 10,000 women because it is such an empowering day. It's so fun.
Hey, Sheldon, you're good there. You're good from over there.
We talked about so many familiar faces. We also have the top Americans. We just heard from Winnie Kaladi, and she's not alone here.
Yeah, and I said Amanda Vestry, top American last year, 4th year, but Taylor Rowe, look out for her. She's just in her 1st year as a pro, 2-time national champion already in 2025.
So many more faces to watch here. We talked about Sharon Lekedi and Helen Obiri and their head-to-head and what they've done recently, but someone else to watch out for, Gebrselassie.
That's right. We have Gebrselassie from Ethiopia here. She's the 2022 world champion, and her personal best is 30:32 in 2024.
As they're making their way down Central Park West, this is so exciting. Just the first few yards of the race before they make the turn into Central Park. And I know we're going to hear a loud roar behind us when they cross behind us at 72nd Street before they make the turn. Oh, but by the way, as we remind you, the other race going on is the pro wheelchair race, and Susanna Scaroni looking to win this for an unprecedented 6th time in the wheelchair division.
She's definitely pushing hard. She went through 5K in about 10:24, and she's over a minute up on Tatiana McFadden, who came through that 5K in 11:34. So Tatiana is trying to close that gap a little bit, but Susanna Scaroni really has the pressure on here early in the early stages of the race.
Susanna Scaroni, as we told you earlier, she's coming off the NYC half victory. She is coming off the Boston Marathon victory. And our Nina Pineda spoke with Susanna Scaroni just a short time before the race.
It is not often you get this close to greatness. I am next to someone who won the gold, won the silver, just an incredible wheelchair athlete. She is Susanna Scaroni. You're the only wheelchair athlete to have won this. You won the marathon, you won the half. Why do you race so well here in New York, Susanna?
Well, I love hilly courses, so that's always a bonus here in New York. But also New York Roadrunners and everything they do as an organization for the community, for my sport. is so special to me. So it's always a pleasure to get to be here too.
So you have raced all over the world. You've been on podiums, I think 18 times I read. But what is special about this mini 10K?
Mini 10K is huge with the history it has and like providing opportunities for women to be athletes. I can't even tell you how special it is for me. And then to be the first, I was in the first wave of wheelchair women that got to start this race. And we have a new field this year of even younger women. So I feel like it's such a great evolution of our sport as well. And it's always a pleasure to get to do that.
And congratulations for all that you do for young women, introducing them of all ages, of all abilities. And good luck to you in today's race.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
Susanna.
it.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you so much to our Nina Pineda and to Susanna Scaroni. Nina will be with us all morning long along the course and doing interviews, and take a look at Susanna Scaroni and what we see so far.
Yeah, as I said, went through in 10:24 for the 5K, a minute up from Tatiana McFadden. I think this is going to surprise her. You know, from what she said when I spoke to her, she just seemed like, you know, I'm doing all the work, but I just don't feel like the races are coming around. All it takes is one race to get back, and she hasn't had that long since Boston and London Marathon. So I think she'll be proud of this effort so far, but we still have time to go, so we can't give it to her too much yet, but she is very far out.
That's right. I mean, we know that she's good in the sprint, so, you know, she's halfway through the race right now. There still is a little bit of time for Tatiana to kind of make up some ground here, but Scaroni looks so very strong, and you have to think that some of that strength is coming off of that marathon and that half marathon.
I'm going to turn around and stand up because right behind us, the pro women are making their way, making that left-hand turn into Central Park at 72nd Street. And there they are.
Oh, it's interesting to see. Yeah, right there. They're all going by.
Right
everybody.
Behind us. And
I got the best seat in the house.
I'm watching Wayne, and, you know, just her tactics. She is such a great strategist. She knows that she was able to take it out fast, and that she just has to kind of watch the race.
I think so too. Amanda Vestry knows the streets here. She had such a great race last year, as we've mentioned a few times, but I think that excitement is there, and you can see that punch. Emma Grace Hurley right on her right shoulder there. She's having a phenomenal year and is coming off of a great 10K in China just a couple weeks ago. So she's got confidence as well.
And there's Sharon Lacada right there.
Yeah, all kind of like the big players, right, that we've mentioned early on our international athletes there. Sharon Lacada, who's won here in many different races, but has only been twice here 2 different times. She's hungry for that win. Wayne Claudy right there, but
Helen
then
Obiri.
Gatti Tom is in the middle of that pack, and then Helen Obiri, as you said.
Yep, we're only a mile into this race, you know, so everybody's kind of looking and feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a little bit of ways to go, but like you talked about confidence, you know, Vestry coming out last year, finishing in 4th place, knowing that sort of like I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
I can contend with the best of them. I think puts her in a position where she's not afraid to lead.
I believe that too. Taylor Rowe is another one that's really gaining confidence. You can see her. She's the tall woman in the purple kit right off the back of that, the first 5. She has just, I mean, she was great when she was at Oklahoma State. She was an indoor 3,000 meter NCAA champion, but always in the mix, whether it was cross country or on the track. And now she's transitioned to the roads so well as a young pro. She won her very first half marathon, which was the U.S. Championships. And she came back just a month ago and won the 10-mile championships in D.C. So for her, too, to gain that confidence at such a young age, that's really exciting.
So the 10K distance is 6.2 miles, as we reminded you at the start of the race. We mentioned earlier about the success of these women in some other races. Obviously, you know, we talk about Sharon Lacada coming off of the Boston Marathon, ran 26.2 miles. The NYC half victory, 13.1. So in a 6.2 mile race, we saw Obiri and Lacada close until the very end, until the turn on Boylston. In 26.2. When do you make the move in a 6.2?
That's a great question. I mean, because Sharon Lacada is more of a long distance runner, and Helen Obiri is now becoming this long distance runner, but she's coming from the track. She's a 2-time silver medalist in the Olympic Games. She's also a 2-time world champion on the track. So she has a little bit maybe more of that confidence in the final kick.
Yeah, well, I got to talk to my friend Molly Huddle, who has been a champion here in the past and just had her baby.
Second one.
That's right. And I asked her about this too. I said, like, how are you approaching this mini 10K? And she says, you know what, this is such a very fun race. And believe it or not, so many people come to this race to have a good time, but to also run fast. And you just take it 1 5K at a time. Yeah. And then connecting with Kara Goucher, she also named the same thing, but also said, listen, the whole goal right now is to just stay in the race. And you're going to look for people to start making moves around that final 1.5K and K to go.
Yeah, you said it. The first 5K here is always like, what's going on? What are we doing? Try not to think too much. And then everyone sort of attacks that second 5K. And last year, speaking of that, Amanda Vestry, negative split. So that means she ran that second half faster. So it's interesting to see her push maybe a little harder early on than she did last year.
And Kaladi also talked about how much she loves hunting.
Yeah.
She loves racing so much. She was asked in a recent interview, what she loves most between cross country, track and field, and road racing. And she named all of her favorite points in all of them, but says that road racing is among her favorite because of that hunting ability.
She loves to hurt.
She loves to hurt.
She loves a hard pace. She likes to race the guys as well. And actually, we've seen her run at some of the top races in the country against our guys, and she's finished in the top 10 against the men. I mean, she's just fearless, that woman who's in second place right now.
And this lead pack is just so close right now.
Yep. Gati Tom, Gabriel Selassie, I do want to mention her. She is a world champion in the marathon, but she did just have a really good race in England right with Helen O'Beary. So she is coming in with some sharpness over 10K, not just coming down from from the marathon.
Looks like Kaladi's moving up, closing in.
Yeah, just likes to be on the shoulder, right? But look at on the right side of the screen. Susanna Scaroni is coming into the final stages of this race. She's at just over 5.8 miles in, so she's getting ready to put on her final push. And looks like she's going to win number 6.
Number 6.
Woo!
Oh, my goodness. That is absolutely incredible.
The only winner of the Mastercard New York Mini 10K in the wheelchair division is Susanna Scaroni, and she's looking to make it number 6 and doing it with such ease.
Yeah, she really does. I mean, it is so fun to watch her race. She's actually even had races recently where she's had to fix her wheel. She is just so calm.
Oh, yeah.
And, so humble. I reach out to her every single race and I say, what can you tell me? And it's about everyone else. It's never about her. I have to pull it out of her because she's so excited to bring others along with her on this journey.
And she named it earlier. She said how important it was for us to, she was a part of that first pack when they first had the wheelchair division, and how important it is for her to lead the future generation.
Yeah. And she is certainly leading the future generation and leading this race here as she's making her way to the finish line here in Central Park for the 2025 Mastercard New York Mini 10K. Susanna Scaroni, no one has done this before, and Susanna Scaroni for the 6th time is your Mastercard New York Mini 10K champ.
Oh, I'm so excited for her just to hear her say that she didn't quite know how she was going to do today, and just for her to get that reinforcement that things are going okay. No matter how you're feeling, you can do it.
A little fist pump, and you see the emotion on her face as she's taking it all in. And as you mentioned a little bit earlier, Alicia, she talked about the importance of this race. And you can see what this means to her.
100%. Susanna Scaroni, 20:49 over this 10K. That's an incredible time for her. The last couple of years she finished 21:06, 21:10. So, that's right up there. And just consistency. That's what we love to see, and that's what a champion looks like.
Susanna Scaroni finishing first as we take our way back to the pro women's race. And Vestry still leading, a slight margin over Kaladi as they are in Central Park. But let's take a look at where they are running, a look at the course map, because we talk about Central Park and the start up at 90th Street and Central Park West. Now you can see where it all starts as they make their way down Central Park West, 72nd, that's where we are. They make the turn into Central Park, then a downhill for the 2nd mile. The lower loop of Central Park, you hit mile 2, and then head up the east side of Central Park. Cat Hill is right about there as we're following, and that is your slow, steady incline before you continue the rolling hills of Central Park. And then that 102nd Street transverse, you cut across the park and head back down the west side, and that a nice downhill finish before you make that final turn to the finish line, which we just saw Susanna Scaroni do, finishing first here in the wheelchair division, the only winner of this race in the wheelchair division.
Yeah, you could see that final push with 200 meters to go. They make that hard left turn. It's less than 200, I think, but she really went for it, Susanna Scaroni, and I can't wait to hear all about her race. But right now, watching Amanda Vestry, she is really just putting the herd on everybody. She's seeing when people are going to go, but that is sort of the MO of this race. Anyone that wins, when we've watched Sunbury Teferi, the past 3-time champion, she waited and she waited until she got into the final stages of this race where she made her push. And I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of these women are coming down in distance from running spring marathons.
Right.
So they have to sort of get their legs under them. But here's Tatiana McFadden.
Here she is crossing the finish line at the
You're good. You're good. You went in.
Mastercard New York Mini 10K, finishing second. And congratulations to Tatiana McFadden.
Yeah, we're so happy that she's back. She had a couple years there where she had some iron deficiency and things like that, so she really worked herself back up to this top level. And yeah, she's doing amazing things. Again, I said she just set that world record.
Okay, you talked about sitting back and waiting to make the push, but now look who we see here. The bookends on the left and on the right. There's Helen O'Beary on the left and Sharon Licchetti on the right, and Sharon slightly taking the lead here.
Yeah, can we just say too, I asked Sharon how she's doing, and she said, oh, Carrie, and she is just such a joy. I love listening to her. If you've ever listened to the New York Roadrunners podcast, she's just hilarious. But she said, Carrie, I don't know where I'm at. I took a good little break after Boston. She enjoyed the win. And then she said, I've just been slowly working myself in. So she said, I'm not sure how I'm going to run. Well, look at her up front here, making moves already, starting to kind of just taste the front of this race. But Helen O'Beary, we always know with Helen O'Beary, she is one to watch. She is dangerous. When she toes the line, she's ready to go.
We talked about Sharon Licchetti, and she's coming off back-to-back course records. So what have you seen from her with the strength of her, especially this year?
Well, I think that Sharon is just really growing into herself as a marathoner. You know, she did not get selected for the Kenyan Olympic team until there was an injury. And then she went to Paris and she was doing this. She sat for a little bit in that race and then she pushed in the final stages only to finish fourth. Now, a lot of people are, sad about finishing fourth, but Sharon said, no, it was an amazing ride getting to be able to be an Olympian. She had a short lead up for it. But I just think that what Sharon is learning from the sport is that she deserves to crack the tape. She deserves to be the one. She is so talented and so good. She's an NCAA champion, and then she is just moving her way through the ranks as becoming one of the best we've ever seen.
And speaking of Sharon Licchetti, the Boston Marathon champ who shattered the course record, we spoke with her just before the start of this race. Let's take a listen.
I am here with greatness. I don't know any other way to put it. It is Sharon Licchetti, the winner of the TCS Marathon, and she is here for this race. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very excited and looking forward to go out there and compete and just have fun.
This is your first race since winning the Boston Marathon. Tell me how life has changed since then.
It's been a whirlwind of emotions, honestly, and a lot of so many things here and there. But anyway, I think it's just been amazing and just great for my career. And I'm just excited to be out here today and continue running and competing and just be the best that I can be.
Sharon, I know that you're competing against Helen O'Beary. It was down to the wire for the two of you. Is this becoming like a very cool rivalry that one you think inspires everyone else? And what is the rivalry you like?
I think so, because more than anything, we're really good friends. And when we come out here, we just want to bring the best out of each other. And, we just try to compete as fast as we could and as the best that we can. And just hopefully, we motivate other people out there. So.
You won the marathon in November. You won the half marathon in March.
Yeah.
What is it about New York and these roads that make you race so well here?
I feel like every time I come here, I just go back to wherever I go, and it gives me so much confidence, and it's just my career started here 2022 with winning the TCS New York City Marathon, and so every time it's just I come here, it's like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be like crushing it and all that, and just the fans and everyone out here are just very amazing, and I appreciate that all the time, and you know, I hope today's gonna be the same too.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much. Sharon Lucchetti, the marathon winner, racing today in the mini Mastercard 10K. We wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Wow. Such a great lady.
That's such an awesome interview with our Nina Pineda, and we thank Nina for that, and Sharon Lucchetti for her time. Not knowing what to expect coming out here today, coming off that, but they are beyond the halfway point at the 3.6 mile mark, and if you look at the 5K split, 15:35 for Helen O'Beary.
And they are on course record pace, everybody. I mean, last year they ran, well, Simberi Teferi, excuse me, in 2023 ran 30:12. So just keep an eye on that. I know it's all about racing right now, but it's always fun to see a new course record. But yeah, Sharon Lucchetti, I think it's great that she's up front. I do think it's nice for her to feel that confidence like she's used to it. If she said that she's not quite sure how she's going to do coming in and how the workouts have been going, this is going to build for her. She's going to feel like I'm in control, I'm relaxed, and I can handle this. Wayne Kaladi coming off of the track last week, she ran a 3,000 meters in Philadelphia. So she stayed out on the on the East Coast, excuse me, and she now has that speed, that sharpness that the track gives you. So they're coming from totally different backgrounds here. We have the marathoner on the right, and we have, or looking at on the right on the screen, and then we have the half marathoner, but now track star coming up into this 10K to kind of meet in the middle.
The half marathoner who said, you know, lining up against these icons, she knows she has to run hard, and we're talking about Winnie Kaladi, who broke the American half marathon record back in January. But you've seen her look over her shoulder, look to her left a couple times as well, because she knows who she's running against, but she's maintaining.
Yeah, as you watch on the screen here, you see her graphic there. Wayne Kaladi has just done so well. She is a champion. I mean, she's won U.S. championships. She won the NCAA championships when she was in college. I mean, she just loves to race, and that is something that you really need to love. This sport is hard, and we know, all 10,000 women know that it is not easy to get out for a run every day, but that's what these women do. They train hundreds of miles a week up front here. And I know that Wayne Kaladi knows who's right behind her. She's even looked a little bit, maybe some clipping behind her, but Helen O'Beary always chomping at the bit. She likes to be in control, but I think she's waiting right now to unleash that kick that she knows she has.
So Helen O'Beary waiting to unleash the kick. Sharon running to the left of Wayne Kaladi. And there they are.
Gatitam Ghebreselassie, again, having a phenomenal year. She ran in Tokyo, then she dropped down in distance and ran a 10K, finishing right behind Helen over there in England. And then Taylor Rowe, not really, you know, making herself a leader in this race, even though we all know she is. She is so good at such a young age. She's training with the Craigs, with the Puma group, and she is just quietly confident. We saw her in the 10 mile just a few weeks ago where she led and pushed so hard. She isn't doing that here, but she looks relaxed, she looks calm.
When you see these top 5 running as close as they are at this stage of the race at 4.2 miles, 2 miles to go, is this basically waiting just to see who makes that kick?
I do. I think that we're waiting to see who has that final kick. We know they all have great endurance. All 5 of these women are coming down in distance. As I said, Wayne Kaladi has sharpened up on the track, but Taylor Rowe, she is one that is a surprise, and I think she's surprising herself. And as they go through this one water stop, this is interesting to see Sharon take a water in the 10K. So she's cooling her body down. You know, that we had talked about this earlier, Sam. This is one of the first races where you really feel the humidity in the spring. And so it is hot. It's not, the temperature isn't so much hot, but your body's getting warm from the humidity. So they're starting to feel that, and that really takes its toll on the later stages of the race.
About a quarter mile ago, we saw Sharon Lucchetti wiping above her eyebrow, her forehead a little bit. So yeah, it is humid out here. You know, the air does feel thick.
Yep. And some of these athletes, like Helen O'Beary, are coming from altitude. Sharon Lucchetti, they're coming from higher, cooler climates now. So it's interesting. But watch, this is exactly what Helen O'Beary likes to do. She just likes to sort of test people. She gets up on them, then she drops back a little bit. She gets up on them. She just likes to play a little yo-yo until she's ready to make that move.
And that's what we're watching right now as Sharon Lokedi is on the right of the screen, Helen Obiri on the left of the screen, Wendy Kaladi in the center.
But look at Taylor Rowe's face. She's calm. She's relaxed. So is Gatti Tom.
Gatti Tom right there as
Helen
well.
looks good. Wayne looks good. They all look good.
They all look so strong as they are 4.6 miles in, under 2 miles to go. You talked about the course record, which is 30:12.
Yeah, set in 2023.
It is a humid day here in Central Park in New York City.
I think what's going to have to happen here is we're going to have to see maybe a Taylor Rowe decide to go a little bit earlier. She is calculating right now, when am I going to go, because I do have these athletes that are so speedy on the track right now, with Wayne Kaladi coming up a distance, but also Obiri isn't on the track anymore, but she has that mentality. I mean, she is a great 1,500 meter runner, 800 meter runner. If anyone knows the 800 meter times out there, she's a sub 2 minute 800 meter runner. So this woman has such turnover, and you can see that. Look at that high knee lift that she has versus even Sharon Lokedi, who's a great track runner as well, but doesn't go back to the track anymore. So she's becoming more of a true marathoner. But it's just interesting, and for me as an athlete, I'm just like, what is going on in their minds right now? What are they thinking? What are they waiting for? And I think that Taylor Rowe is one that's maybe thinking, I'm going to have to start my drive here. I'm in this race. I can win this race. She's got to get excited about that.
4.8 miles in now. You talked about Wendy Kaladi looking over her shoulder, and what are they thinking? We just saw Sharon Lokedi looking to her right. So what is she thinking as she's looking over? Is she checking where Helen Obiri is?
I think she is. I mean, Sharon and Helen are very good friends, and we saw in the Boston Marathon they were together until the final stages, as we see a little bit of movement there on Taylor Rowe, trying to maybe make a little bit of a push. But Sharon Lokedi has great speed. She has it over the half marathon, has it over the marathon. She doesn't run the 10K very often, although she has finished second here twice, so you know she's thinking about that.
Just last year, she finished second here to Simberi Teferi.
Starting to get more into a straight across line, you know, not necessarily two in front, two in back. They're starting to have a little bit of pressure here. Wayne Kaladi needs to keep that pressure on, and look at who answers that call right away. It's Helen Obiri. Does not like anyone to step in front of her.
As Sharon Lokedi dropped back a bit, just over a mile to go, 1.2 to go. This is a 6.2 race. They just passed the 5 mile mark.
I love that just now. I saw Taylor Rowe touch her watch. She's taken her splits.
Okay.
So she is in control. And you know, the reason why I say I love that is I like to see that she is in control of what's going on. She's not running so hard that she's not in control. So for her to be able to say, I'm going to click my watch, she's still with it. She's got it mentally. She's physically maybe doing okay. You can see a little bit of tilt back of her chin. So she's starting to hurt a little bit. But look at how strong Wayne Kaladi looks right now. Helen Obiri has no pain on her face either, and she still looks good. She touches her face every now and then.
Yeah.
I believe that's a little bit of a prayer that she does. So that isn't just that's not how she runs. That's her doing something internally, and she's getting ready. You can see the real big arm swing. Wayne Kaladi looks smooth. They're putting a little bit of distance now on Taylor Rowe.
Talked about Helen Obiri, waiting for her to make the kick, and
we are waiting.
Yeah, and we are watching.
We are watching. But as I said, the difference is Wayne Kaladi's coming from the track now. Just last week, little bit of pain there. I just saw a little bit of grimace on her face. But Helen Obiri dropped down now, has run a 10K, so she's felt this fast injection of speed now on the roads. But look at here. Here we go. Wayne Kaladi a little bit in front. You can see she's making these final pushes. She's got to do it here. She's got to go because she knows she's got to run that kick out of Helen Obiri.
She is the American half marathon record holder. Now looking to finish first here at the Mastercard New York Mini 10K. Under a mile to go. Helen Obiri, the 2024 Boston Marathon champ. She is a New York City Marathon champ. She is a New York City half marathon champ. She has won here in New York. We've talked about the head-to-head with Sharon Lokedi, but right now it's Wayne Kaladi and Helen Obiri.
Two of the best we've seen. You know, Wayne Kaladi's run 3 half marathons in her career. 2 of them she set the American record in. She is so good at what she does. She is great, like Alicia Montano said, on the track, on the roads, and on the cross-country courses. She's very, very strong. But so is the woman behind her. She's won world championship medals on all of it, cross-country, track, and roads. So let's see what happens here.
Wayne Kaladi took a look over her shoulder to see who's behind her and how close. And it's Helen O'Beary right there. 0.7 of a mile to go.
Woo! And this is exactly where we could see at a mile to go, there was a little bit of a jump. You could see a jump in pace, a jump in strategy. People were trying to get some distance. They've already put quite a bit of distance on Taylor Rowe there, our second American, excuse me, and in 4th, Sharon Lokedi. But Wayne Kaladi has sort of been the one in command for much of this race. Amanda Vestry was out there with her early on in the early stages of the race, but look at how hard. Wayne Kaladi's not just trying to put her final kick on here. She's trying to get some distance between Helen O'Beary, and I like what Helen's doing. Every single time there's a little surge, she answers that call.
She's staying right there.
But she did take a little bit of a look back. I think she's just trying to see if these two have pulled away, and they sure have. Sam Grotwold, who recruits all of these amazing athletes, said, keep the curb to your left. That's all you got to remember. This is one big circle. He said, keep the curb to your left. You're going to make that final.
And there it is.
And there is this push.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Keep moving.
Helen O'Beary, a little look back. And we talked about the kick. We talked about the push. As you mentioned, the course record, 30-12.
Yeah, but she made a big move there, and that's what they always say in our sport. When you make a move, you got to make a big one. Sort of surprise everybody. So we're going to have some flags here with 400 meters to go, with 200 meters to go, and each and every flag that Helen O'Beary will see, she's going to wind it up. She is trying to put this final little burst on here. Give it everything she has, because we know she can kick. We know with 200 meters to go, she's gonna push as hard as she can. But a couple looks back. She's working really hard. She's using those arms. Dathan Ritzenheim, her coach, Kelsey Quinn, her coach, also Laura Thweet, who's out here with her. All of those coaches are working so hard with all the different elements that she has. She's got speed, she's got endurance, she's got strength. She is such a talent, one we have loved watching on the streets of New York City.
0.2 of a mile to go. Her personal best in the 10K is 30:15.2 to go. 30:12 the course record. 30:15 her personal best.
It's going to be tight, everybody. She's just under 30 minutes right now, so it's going to be tight.
She made the kick, she made the distance, and Helen O'Beary is your leader with room as she comes down the stretch here.
Not going to get that course record, but looks like she is going to get that win. Took a little bit of a look when she made this final turn, but everyone knows now that she is in the home stretch.
And we mentioned a new champ will be crowned today at the Mastercard New York Mini 10K. And Helen O'Beary making the kick, timing it out, as you mentioned, when she needed to. She makes the turn into Central Park, and Helen O'Beary is your Mastercard New York Mini 10K 2025 champion.
Oh, it is.
And another look back.
Another look back, just to make sure, right? But it is so fun to see Helen O'Beary. She moved over here to Boulder a few years ago to really give it everything she had, and she's doing great. There's Sharon Lokedi coming in. We saw Taylor Rowe just in front. Looks like Helen O'Beary with 30:44 and officially ahead of Wayne Kaladi. Gatti Tom Gabriel Selassie was in third. Taylor Rowe, second American there in fourth.
And Sharon Lokedi in fifth.
Yep.
Look at the smile, the elation, and the exhaustion.
She always
humid out there.
She's always smiling. This woman loves to run. Grace Nawaluna, she is having a phenomenal year as well. But yeah, what I love about Helen O'Beary is she is so focused and so intense, if you can say that, when it comes to racing. But when she's away from the sport, or away from the race, I should say, she's light and fun and just excited about being out here with all her fellow women.
Congratulations.
As we're watching some of the other athletes come in. Can I give a shout out to this woman right here, Erica Kemp. We just went away from her, but she just made her first World Championship team. She's going to run the marathon with Susanna Sullivan and Betsy Sena. They just announced that American team, which will be coming up in September. So congratulations to Erica Kemp. And then here is Emily Ventures, another young star for America.
We talked about the humidity and the thick air. How much was that a factor, do you feel, today?
I mean, you could see it on them. I mean, there's a lot of sweat. There's Susanna Sullivan, as I just mentioned. There's a lot of sweat. Helen O'Beary is exhausted. I mean, it takes extra. What happens in the humidity is your heart rate pops up there, and you just can't.
Your body's not cooling off.
It's not cooling off. So, yeah, it's tough as we see a lot of celebration here already.
And a lot of smiles.
A lot of smiles.
So many smiles.
It is such a fun day. It really is. The whole entire races. And there's
Dakota.
Dakota Popane.
And she's always smiling.
Yep, she was the top American at the Paris Olympic Games.
As we mentioned, 10,000 runners this morning here in Central Park. And there is Helen O'Beary, your champion. She made that kick late. We saw it. And she was determined, finishing first here.
She put about 5 seconds on Wayne Claudia, and I would say in less than a half mile. So when she made that move, she really pushed hard, and you could see her just waiting as we watched Steph Bruce, who's retired from the sport and come back in, and she also had another baby just a couple years ago. So fun to see her out here every time. Oh, big happy birthday to Christine Burke.
Oh, happy birthday, Christine. Let's take a look back at the pro wheelchair finish. Susanna Scaroni. And here she is, finishing first. And standing by the finish line is our Alicia Montano with the women's wheelchair champ, Susanna Scaroni. Hey, Alicia.
I am so excited to be here with Susanna Scaroni. Susanna, an absolutely incredible performance, 20:49 course record. How are you feeling? Were you expecting to do that out there today?
I'm feeling great. I did not expect that. You know, I've had a lot of travel the last 3 weeks, and I feel more travel than training sometimes, but really grateful. We had perfect weather. The rain held off, and it's no wind, so really great day.
You are no stranger to these hilly courses. You definitely really put it to them out there today. Now, you told me that the 10K is your favorite. Tell me why.
So I love the 10K that you don't really have to pace yourself. Unlike a marathon, I don't want to, go out too hard that first 6 miles. And so here I get to, and I think I can do it. Just one more mile. And so I think I love that kind of like prolonged high intensity.
We love it. Good job out there, everyone. Susanna Scaroni, our champion for 2025 New York Roadrunners Mini 10K.
Thank you to both of you, and congratulations. Let's take a look at the results from the pro wheelchair race. Susanna Scaroni, 20:49, finishing first. Tatiana McFadden, second at 23:32. And then there's Hannah Dedrick finishing third. 1, 2, 3, we saw the excitement. One takeaway from that interview, Susanna saying about the 10K distance is that you really don't have to pace yourself. You just go.
Gotta go.
And she just enjoyed that.
Yeah, she is such a star. I mean, she really takes advantage of every race that she runs, and it's really fun to watch her come into her own and to dominate like she's been dominating lately. Tatiana McFadden, obviously always fun, and big shout out to Hannah. Hannah had a great race today as well.
A fantastic finish here in Central Park for the women's wheelchair race. You see a look at the finish line area as we see the spectators waiting for 10,000 runners to finish this one. Our Nina Pineda has been at the start and the finish line all day, and let's send it over to Nina Pineda with more.
Sam, I have none other with me than the chair of the board of directors, Nena Lynch. Nena, this is incredible. It started in 1972. There was, I think, 72 finishers. Now you're up to 10,000 women running in this. What does the growth of the Mini 10K, Mastercard Mini 10K mean to you?
Yeah, it's really incredible. It's really interesting because it's a barometer of women's sports. Back when it started, there was nothing like this. This was the first all-women's race in the world. So it's a real testament to NYR's visionary leadership. Fast forward to today. Last year, we had record number of finishers. As you said, today we have 10,000 starters. So we're super proud of NYR's role in the history of women's sports and running, and love to see the positive momentum.
And Channel 7, ABC7 NY has really been partnered with New York Run Runners for so long. You do so much, not just with the races, but just generally the health of everyone in the city by your encouragement. So what does this mean to the New York Road Runners mission?
Yeah, so our mission is to help and inspire through running, right? And to build stronger individuals and communities through running, because we know it's so powerful. And so out here today, you will see people of all ages, sizes, shapes, and abilities. Everything from our pro runners, who are the very best in the world, to beginners, right? Who might be doing their first race. In our kids' races today, we have 1,000 competitors.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting.
And then our oldest runner is 88 years old.
Oh my gosh,
So,
and run the gamut. And you yourself started at 14. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Good luck today. I'm going to send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The chair of the board of directors. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. 10,000 runners, 10,000 stories. And look at the top 9 here of the professional women's race. We saw Helen O'Beary crossing the finish line in Central Park first, a time of 30:44. So familiar to New York City and New York Road Runner races. Helen O'Beary and Wayne Colati finishing right behind her second. And let's send it back over to Alicia Montano, who is with the champion of today's race, Helen O'Beary.
Here we are with Helen O'Beary, the champion of the Mastercard 10K, Mini 10K. This is just an absolutely incredible race that you ran. Wayne Colati was really trying to break you. You didn't let her get away from you. And in that last 600 meters, it seemed like you took it away. What were your tactics with holding on to, that second place position and then running away with the win?
First of all, it's a beautiful race for me because winning here, I was saying to myself, I won your 2023 New York Marathon and 2023 mean 10K, meaning half marathon. So I said to myself, can I win a half 10K also? And the Terit was so strong. I know Winnie was so strong. I said to myself, let me just stay behind because she's from track, she can just kick. And then after 9K, I say, can I try to go? And because I've been training so well, and for the last 1 week, I've been working on my speed. I said, I have forgot. I have to win this. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That was an absolutely incredible experience. Now, I heard that your daughter gives it to you a little bit if you didn't win. She is 10. What do you think that she's saying about you at home?
Oh, when I was coming on Thursdays, she told me Mom, you got this. You have this. You have what you want to win the race. Go and win it. And today morning she told me all the best. So sometimes I feel so bad when she asks me why did you win the race? Why didn't you let those ladies beat you? Now I see she was watching. She must be so happy and she must be excited for her mom.
Oh, she must be proud of you. I know that she is, and we are too. Congratulations on your win here today at the Mastercard Mini 10K here in New York.
Thank you, Alicia and Helen O'Beary. One more look at that fantastic finish by Helen O'Beary after she made the kick. She finishes first, and motivation from her daughter, but also what stands out to me when she said, hey, I won the New York City Marathon here.
Yeah.
I won the NYC half here. Why not the 10K? I want to win the 10K here now.
Well, and she's been here before. She was second here, so she wanted that win. But I just love how she brings her daughter Tanya into it. And she is she cracks a hard whip, that little Tanya. She keeps her mom on her toes. But yeah, she just looks so good today. And I think that what's interesting about Helen O'Beary is she ran the Boston Marathon, and she took a little bit of downtime, her coaches said. said, but not much. She just wanted to get back out there. Then she went over to England, ran that 10K there, came back here and ran a 10K, will run again in July. I mean, she just loves to race, and she's not as young as you all think she is probably. You know, she's been around for a long time, so it's really fun to have her back.
It's so fun to watch her, and so fun to watch her and Sharon Lekady together, finishing 1 and 2 at the Boston Marathon. She won the Boston Marathon last year in 2024, but here today, the top finisher in the, look at this, the Mastercard New York Mini 10K. Look at the top Americans, though. So Winnie Kaladi, we saw her at the lead for most of this race.
Well, and a big shout out to Winnie Kaladi. She ran the fastest time ever by an American on this course. So that is such a cool thing for her to have on her CV as well. But yeah, she's having a great year. Taylor Rowe, 2-time U.S. champion already this spring and winter, and she's excited about this sport. Amanda Vestry having a good day.
Yeah.
She was 4th here last year. She took it out hard. She has to be proud of that effort. But Emma Grace Hurley, Bailey Herzenstein finishing in the top 10 for the Americans.
And Alicia is back at the finish line with Winnie Kaladi, our top American finisher.
I'm here with Winnie Kaladi, our top American finisher. Actually, the fastest American time ever with the 30:49 effort. Not far off of your track PB of 30:35. You really made Helen work for that first place finish. An incredible performance in its own right. How are you feeling after this performance?
It was great. The race was pretty hot and a little hilly. At first, the race was kind of felt like a little bit slow, which I expected. But I was like, okay, I'm going to stay tagged in and then try my best halfway. But when I see Amanda pushing through, and I was like, I got to help her. I think we can get through it. It's a 10K race. And I kept pushing as I expected. I was waiting for her to come push because she's a front runner. And she make it hard, but I was like, I gotta stay with her because if I pull off, the race is gonna be hard because I've been leading. So as soon as she dropped off, I was like, oh man, I have been waiting for this. But all I had to do was push myself to the end.
And you did that just so incredibly well. Your tactics and your strategy, is just so incredible. Everybody's always watching for that. What do you have after this?
After this, my main focus is going to be on the track racing. I'm going to go back to 5K, which is the Prefontaine Classic. It's going to be a super fast race, but looking forward to it. Hopefully they make me run a PR.
An absolutely incredible performance that we had with Winnie Kaladi here, the fastest American finisher. We're so proud of you. Congratulations.
That is awesome. The fastest American finisher and the fastest American time ever.
And didn't you love how she said that because Amanda Vestry was up there pushing, she couldn't let her do that alone.
Yeah.
They wanted to help each other, and that is something that's cool. I mean, we all want to win races. We all want to beat each other really bad, but we also like to help one another. And you've talked about Helen and Sharon Lekady. They're very, very good friends. Like, I think everyone in this community is so tight, and we're watching all of these women now finishing their own race, the 10,000 of them. I mean, that is something cool about this sport. And you just ran the Boston Marathon and ran really well, and you kind of become a sisterhood and with your fellow runners out there.
The running community supports.
Yeah.
So we root for each other, we support each other. You guys you're watching because you're part of the running community.
Yeah.
And it's just so empowering and uplifting. And we see it in the race, and we see it today. And we just saw people just starting right behind us a few minutes ago. So to the 10,000 runners, is this their first race? Is this their first 10K? And what is going through their mind? No, they may not finish first, but people are here. Let's look back some of the highlights that we saw earlier this morning here in Central Park. So we're going to take a look at the wheelchair race, the pro wheelchair. Now, we talked about this was not raced last year because of the conflicts of the schedule. And Susanna Scaroni is the only winner of this race, the 6 years that it has been run here in Central Park, and she does it again, an unprecedented 6th win here.
I love when you say that. I could hear it time and time again, but Tatiana McFadden looks so good, and Hannah Diedrich right there on the other side in the top 3.
And there you see the top finishers here in the pro wheelchair, Susanna Scaroni and Tatiana McFadden. You look at the list as well, the top 8 racers here, times between 20:49 for Susanna Scaroni, and then you see Tatiana under 3 minutes behind.
Yeah, Tatiana, as I said, is always a force. She is always there. But Susanna Scaroni has just shown us time and time again that she belongs up front. She belongs up there cracking the tape. And, you know, I want to tease her a little bit because she didn't tell me anything about her. It was all about everyone else. So.
But she also talked about the history and the importance of this race. So while she didn't talk about herself, we know, and you said, hey, everyone wants to win.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to win, but she also respecting the history here and just how important this is. This is the 53rd running of the Mini 10K.
Yeah.
And this 1972, this ties back to Title IX. This was the first all-women's race in the world.
Yeah. And I love it. I love the story behind the mini skirt. And we've talked, as an athlete that was able to be a professional athlete, we've talked about this race, what it did for us women. My mom was never allowed to be in sports. And then she raised 3 girls that were all athletes, and one of them went to the Olympic Games. I mean, that is pretty powerful when you look at a race like this and you think of Catherine Switzer and all the women that came before me and came before Alicia and all the other women that were racing today. We're pretty thankful.
There are so many pioneers and those who paved the way and opened the doors. And now from such a small beginning, the genesis,
women.
72 women in 1972, now to 10,000. And the youth race as well here. So that is uplifting for the younger generation, and they are watching and they are learning from this. They are seeing the smiles at the finish line in all aspects.
And you're talking about Susanna Scaroni. I mean, being in the very first wheelchair race and now seeing other athletes come here, or the New York Mini, or the New York Half Marathon, or the New York Marathon, that are young wheelchair athletes. I mean, it's because of Tatiana McFadden and Susanna Scaroni and all of the other wheelchair athletes that have come before them. That's just so cool.
It is so powerful. It is so powerful. And right now, our Nina Pineda, she is back out there along the course, and she has more. Hi, Nina.
Hi there. We're getting ready for this very exciting youth race. I had the pleasure of interviewing the youth ambassador. 1,000 girls get to participate in this, just one of 20 events that New York Roadrunners puts on to inspire youth to put feet to pavement. Here we are with Sophia, this year's youth ambassador. I'm here with a very special guest. We are with the youth ambassador. She is Sophia from Forest Hills, Queens. I asked her how she got involved with this. She said, my mom signed me up. Isn't that how we all get to the next step of what we're doing? What inspired you to, after your mom signed you up for this very important role as youth ambassador, to encourage other young women and girls to get involved with running?
I just want to see more girls in running. I don't see many people from my neighborhood running, and I want to have people out there have fun.
Did you consider yourself an athlete, or is this kind of a new territory for you?
Running is more of a new territory. I've done other sports, but running is still pretty new to me.
What do you think about when you're running? I know you're in 8th grade, so what do you kind of go over in your head to keep you on track?
There's mainly that one song I always have in mind, and I use that beat to keep my breathing in line.
Can you share that song?
It depends on my mood. Most of the time, it's a K-pop song.
All right, so whatever's in your playlist.
Yeah.
What would you do to encourage other girls to get involved, and what do you do in your role as youth ambassador?
I would just tell them, put on some shoes and have fun. Don't overthink it. It's like a game of tag. I think for encouraging others, it shouldn't be something people should be afraid of. Mm-hmm. Running is a diverse group around the world. You should be able to go out there and have fun.
That is great advice for everyone. You're an inspiration. I'm sure people are going to see this, and they're going to say, hey, if Sophia can do it, I can too. Good luck in the youth race today.
Thank you.
All right, Sophia, have fun.
Thank you.
And here are the girls. They are getting ready to go. 12 to 18-year-olds are in the first race. That's a 1-mile distance. And then coming up about 20 minutes after that will be stage 2. That'll be 8 to 18-year-olds participating in a half-mile distance right here in the heart of New York City, in Central Park. 1,000 girls with the Roadrunners race get to run in this. This, again, is just one of 20 events, free events, that New York Roadrunners puts on for kids all throughout the city. And as Sophia was saying, just start somewhere. She wasn't a runner. She didn't consider herself an athlete, but she put foot to pavement, and she is getting it done. They are getting ready to take off here for the first wave of the youth race, and I will send it back to you as these 12 to 18-year-olds get ready to start their 1 mile.
And there they go. So great hearing their stories and the inspiration. So, Carrie, I have to tell you this, a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago now, I ran this race, and my daughter ran the youth race. And I loved it because I loved being able to watch. And yes, it's a mile. And it was just, it was fun to see the drive and the thrill, the excitement on her face, and also to see crossing the finish line, the empowerment too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it is so fun when you are young, being able to line up with your mom. I never got to do that. And I mean, that is so neat that you, and still to this day, she still gets to see you run because of races like this. It's not just one and done for many people. It's, okay, I'm going to come back time and time again and keep running the mini. And now, hopefully she comes back as an adult and runs it again.
10,000 runners today. The youth race just underway. We're looking at so many runners in Central Park for this historic 53rd running of the Mastercard New York Mini 10K 10,000. We talked about the growth of this.
As we welcome Alicia Montano
Great
back.
job at the finish line.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What incredible performances.
I know.
We have a course record out there with Susanna Scaroni, an all-time fastest road 10K by Weenie Kaladi
for Americans here.
For Americans here, so super exciting race.
Yeah, and Susanna Scaroni running her fastest time ever here on this course as well. So not only winning her 6th, but she goes faster than she ever has.
She has a course record.
I think she needs to celebrate tonight.
I spoke to both Helen and to Weenie. They said it was so hot out there. I'm over here sprinting from the finish line.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, you could feel the humidity.
I can feel the humidity, and just knowing that effort that Weenie put out there.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't going to let that go away too easy.
I know. Can we say thank you for doing the post-race interviews? We're giving a lot of love and support to Allie Feller, who normally is out there doing our finish
Allie,
line
this is for you.
reporting, but not here this time. But we're thinking of you and praying for you. So
We love you, Allie.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. But good job.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
so
job, team.
much. And let's take a look at the finish line as we head back to the highlights of this race here in Central Park, the Mastercard New York Mini 10K. And there is Helen O'Beary making the kick and making the move. And that's what we were talking about during this on this humid morning here in New York City. And here she is, coming down the stretch and finishing first. She said, why not the 10K? I won the marathon here. I won the half marathon here. I want to win the 10K. And her daughter encouraged her to do it.
Tanya will be happy, but just the hunting that she did during that race. For about 5 miles, she waited. There was a little bit of, touching the lead, but once she did, it was all Helen O'Beary and Weenie Kaladi, as we said. Fastest time ever run by an American on this course. And give it up to Gatitam Gebrselassie. No one is a marathoner now, but still able to crush over 10K.
We saw Taylor Rowe also in there in that lead pack, and there's Sharon Lekedi finishing 5th overall. You talked about the heat, and Alicia, the athletes talked about the humidity today.
Yes, and it definitely, for me, you could feel it. So just to know this effort that was put in place, to see course records drop, with that type of humidity, it just shows you the type of athletes that these women truly are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had a blast. I love coming every year. I mean, I need to run it one of these years, maybe with the mic in hand.
Yeah.
But I'm a little jealous, to be honest. 10,000 other women are getting, 6.2 miles under their belts, and they're having a blast doing it.
Yes, and I spoke to a couple of women out there that were running, in the just the local field and the masses, and they say this is the most fun race. They love coming out. They love celebrating women. They think it's just an incredible thing that New York Road Runners is doing.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe next year, a couple of years after that, I don't know.
Okay. Maybe after everyone's done, we can go do it.
Or maybe we'll preview it beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what was really cool? MasterCard being the title sponsor, they gave some of the elite athletes yesterday some products and things that were from women-owned businesses. So it's not just the day of the race. It's the whole thing leading up to it. Really cool.
It's the moment, and this has been for 53 years, the 53rd running of this since 1972. And, we have the best seat in the house, so let's do it again next year. Alicia, thank you so much, and congratulations to you. Carrie, thank you so much. Allie Feller, we are sending our love to you, and thank you on behalf of our entire crew here with New York Roadrunners, with ABC-7 New York, for Nina Panady. Thank you so much for joining us, for watching along. This historic race here in Central Park, the first ever all-women's race in the world, and it continues. Helen O'Beary is your 2025 champ. Susanna Scaroni, your 2025 champ. Thank you so much for joining us from Central Park. I'm Sam Ryan. Have a wonderful day.